All right, Fiona Anderson back with us from Business in Vancouver, and GDP numbers out this morning. I guess good and bad news. Good news that they're not as down as much as they thought. Bad news is they're down.
They're down. That's bad news. I mean, we shouldn't panic or anything, but we don't like negative GDP because we measure our economy and the health of our economy by our gross domestic product. We like it to be a positive number. That means people are hiring and the economy is expanding and all those good things. So yes, it fell 0.1% in January. Yes, it's less than expected. People were expecting it to fall 0.2%. So that's the good news. But we don't like negative GDP. That is, if it continues, the sign of a recession. But as I said, not to panic. In fact, we've had negative GDP growth 12 times for 12 different months since the 2008-2009 recession, since we recovered from that. So none of those led to recession. This month is probably not going to lead to recession either. But as I said, we still like positive growth. So what's happening? Your first guess would be oil. Well, in fact, if we look at the first board here, what's been positive in the economy in January was mining, oil and gas. It was actually up 1.4%. One of the reasons is unconventional gas. That means oil and gas, the oil sands. It was actually up 9.5% from the previous months, which were really quite bad. The reason for that is once the sunk costs are in, the companies are still going to produce the oil, and that's what goes into GDP. Other positive steps or other positive areas, utilities, 1.4% up. Agriculture and forestry were up 1.9%. So what's actually dragging the economy down? Well, it's services largely. What's really hurt us is, well, conventional oil was down, so that's not surprising because it's more price sensitive. So that's the non-oil sands gas. So it was down 1.9%, but also it's trade. Trade was what really hit the economy hard. Wholesale trade was down 2.6%. Retail trade down 1%. A couple other negatives, transportation and warehousing down 0.8%. Hotels and restaurants down 0.8%. So we don't know what's going to happen over the next couple of months. A few economists are saying they do expect negative growth for the whole quarter Q1. We'll have to see. February was weak as well after January. So we'll have to see if March can pull that back up. But again, you know, nothing to really worry about, but we aren't doing as well as we had hoped. Every year we predict that GDP will be, 2%, 2.5% next year. We haven't got there yet. So the economy is definitely recovering much slower than we had hoped.
All right, good. Thank you very much for that, Fiona.